Hello everyone, it is time. It is superhero deep dive time. Welcome everyone, welcome. Alright, so we are on our countdown to the series finale. This, I believe, is episode 168. It's gonna be a pretty good one. One of my favorites actually, one of my favorite heroes. And yeah, aesthetically speaking. But yeah, let me get my disclaimers out of the way and all that good stuff. We'll get into it. So, by the way, if you haven't heard, got this one. I have two more deep dives after this, and then I have my finale. And then I am closing the door on Superhero Deep Dive. It's going to be right at the end of April, but have no fear. The podcast will still be running. The show will still be running on Outworld Fleet Radio. The YouTube channel will still stay open. I just won't be doing any new episodes. But you are more than welcome to review all the old ones, to listen. It's going to be great. I do encourage you, though, if you have subscribed to my channel, Superhero Deep Dive, go and subscribe to TN2M shows. Right now we have probably about 21,000 subscribers, I believe. So, it may be more. It may be less. I don't know. but there's a lot of subscribers there. I'm actually going to be doing my superhero memes, my weekly meme review. I'm moving it over to that channel with my good friends, Chris and also Chris, who you may have seen from the Friends with Benefits podcast, or just on their channel in general. But yeah, so I'm moving there as of May 1st. Believe the first show I'm going to be doing is that Saturday with the superhero meme review. So go ahead, like them now, comment or subscribe to them now, so you can get ahead of the curve when it comes time. Alright, now the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. You can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is outworldfleetradio.online. You can catch me on X and Instagram under Super Deep Dive. You can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive, or as of May 1st, TN2M shows. So there's going to be that. If you ever wanted to email me, feel free to. You can email me at b4itall@yahoo.com. So this week I'm going to be talking about Dr. Midnite from DC Comics. Really cool character. Aesthetically, like I said, he's one of my favorites of all time. His real name is Charles Midnite, because you can't have a superhero name if the real name isn't somehow linked to it. So Charles Midnite sounds kind of like Midnight, right? He's Dr. Midnite. Charles Midnite is a surgeon who was called one night to remove a bullet from a witness set to testify against mobsters. A mobster named Killer Maroney threw a grenade into a room, killing the witness and blinding Midnite, and with the injury causing him to believe his career as a surgeon was over. One evening, as he was recovering, an owl crashed through his window. Removing the bandage covering his eyes, Midnite discovered that he could still see, but only in perfect darkness. Midnite developed a special visor allowing him to see in the light, and blackout bombs capable of blocking out all light, becoming a costume crime fighter. He adopted the owl, naming it Hootie, and it became his sidekick. Now here's a fun fact. Later, Dr. Midnite decided to change his name to Blowfish. So he released an album. You may have heard of them. Super popular in the 90s. I'm completely lying about that, by the way. Alright, so anyways. Alright, so he adopted the owl, naming it Hootie, and it became his sidekick. Upon becoming Dr. Midnite, his first outing had him bringing Killer Maroney to justice. He later joined the Justice Society of America and the All-Star Squadron. In 1942, McNider enlisted the U.S. Medical Corps, or he was enlisted in the U.S. Medical Corps as a physician during World War II, rising to the rank of captain. 10 years after his debut, McNider briefly assumed the role of Starman after the JSA disbanded when Ted Knight, the original Starman, had a nervous breakdown as a result of his participation in the development of the atomic bomb. According to Jess Nevin's Encyclopedia of Golden Age Superheroes, his opponents included the Minstrel, the Baleful Banshee, the hypnosis-wielding Dr. Light, the angling-themed Fisherman, and the Ganglord Tarantula. Now it's pretty interesting because Dr. Light he got to kind of like to be a major player for a little bit in DC Comics, so that's pretty cool. And of course, if your name is Dr. Midnite, you're gonna have an enemy named Dr. Light. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Now, McNider suffered a devastating event in 1953 when the woman he loved, Myra Mason, was taken care of by the Shadower, a foe who had learned Dr. Midnite's secret identity. See, so this is the reason why you don't let your secret identity out. Alright, McNider's later romantic history is unrevealed, but another old friend of McNider, Miss Alice King, made an appearance in All-Star Comics number 90, which was back in 1947, and McNider apparently had no children, but at one point McNider rescued a pregnant woman from an attack in Sogndal, Norway, and delivered her baby. The baby was Peter Cross, who later became the third Dr. Midnite. McNider was also one of the JSA members captured and placed in suspended animation by the immortal villain Vandal Savage before being freed by the Flash. Charles McNider eventually met his end as one of the casualties of Zero Hour, when he and fellow JSA member Hourman were aged by extant. He was briefly reanimated as a member of the Black Lantern Corps during the Blackest Night event, only to be destroyed by Mr. Terrific. Now, you may see Dr. Midnite in some of the 2000s JSA comics. I thought it was the same Charles McNider. I've always been a fan because the costumes were incredibly similar. So if it's not, I'm sorry, but this was the original. This was the one that I had always known, and granted, 47 is way before my time. It's before my father's time, but it's still such a cool hero. Let me get into his powers. McNider possesses the metahuman ability to see perfectly in the dark. Utilizing special infrared lenses, McNider can see in light, and later in his life, his lenses become more ineffective as his eyesight continues to deteriorate, inhibiting his daylight vision. So I like that they kind of made it real world, in the fact that his eyesight was starting to go anyway. McNider also employs blackout bombs, which release pitch black gas that blinds villains, yet allowing McNider to see. For a time, he used a weapon called a cryotuber, which can either control the nervous system of an opponent or fire bursts of heat or cold. He is also a brilliant doctor and mathematician, and in All-Star Comics number 13, he is able to communicate with a Neptunian using mathematical equations. I don't really get that, but okay. As Starman, McNider used various star-themed gadgets, including an airship designed by the Red Torpedo. McNider is also a superb athlete and fighter, as well as a gifted physician and author. Fun facts: Charles McNider as Dr. Midnite makes a non-speaking cameo appearance in Smallville's two-part episode Absolute Justice, via a painting that depicts him as a member of the Justice Society of America. Charles McNider as Dr. Midnite makes a non-speaking cameo appearance in Justice League Unlimited as a member of the team. He also appears in Batman Brave and Bold. This version is a member and resident doctor of the JSA. And he also appears in the Mad segment, That's What Super Friends Are For. Charles McNider as Dr. Midnite appears in the second season of Legends of Tomorrow, portrayed by Kwesi Amion. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. And this version is a legally blind member of the JSA who was active in the 1940s until most of them went missing following a mission in 1956. In reality, they scattered themselves across time to protect the Spear of Destiny, with Midnite going to the year 3000, where he became a researcher and used futuristic technology to restore his sight. However, he is then taken care of by a brainwashed Rip Hunter who steals his spear fragment for the Legion of Doom. He also appears, Charles Midnite as Dr. Midnite also appears in Stargirl, portrayed by Henry Thomas in the first season and Alex Collins in the second and third season. This version is a member of the Justice Society of America who sports longevity and wears glasses that can sync with special goggles he developed and programmed with an AI modeled after him, also provided by Thomas in the first season and Collins in the second and third season, and memories. In flashbacks, he was with the JSA when the Injustice Society of America attacked their headquarters. During the battle, Shade pretended to attack Midnite to save him, but accidentally lost him in the Shadowlands, leading to the latter being presumed dead. In the present, Beth Chapel assumes the mantle of Dr. Midnite after she discovers his goggles, and in the second season, Midnite eventually makes contact with Chapel, and later encounters Courtney Whitmore and Cindy Berman after Eclipso sent them into the Shadowlands. Once Shade uses his abilities to free the trio, Midnite and Chapel work to find Eclipso so their allies can defeat him. Afterwards, Midnite gives Chapel his blessing to continue operating as Dr. Midnite before she informs him that his wife has settled in Melody Hills, where she now has a son. Whew, that was a lot. Charles Midnite as Dr. Midnite makes a cameo appearance in the opening credits of Justice League: A New Frontier. He also appears in Injustice 2, number 40. This version isolated himself to Norway, with Ted Grant being the only one who knows of this. Grant brings Batman to Midnite to recruit the latter to perform a heart transplant on Superboy using General Zod's heart so the former can leave the Phantom Zone. He also, let's see here, Charles Midnite as Dr. Midnite and Hootie receive an action figure in Wave 12 of the DC Comics Universe Classic line. Charles Midnite as Dr. Midnite and Hootie received an action figure from DC Direct in 2001. And the Justice League Unlimited incarnation of Dr. Midnite received an action figure in Mattel's Justice League Unlimited toy line in November of 2011. So they have him as almost like a background character in so many things because he's just a solid character. Like, let me describe his look, because it's just wonderful. It's like leather, like brown leather gloves and the cowl, with the goggles. You have these kind of like belt buckle things around him. It looks amazing. It's just a really cool look. And let me give you my final thoughts. And I keep going on about this, but I always thought Dr. Midnite had one of the best costume designs in comic book history. It's got elements that make it look like he could be fashioned at home, so anyone could be this character. Like, he conceals his identity, and it conceals his identity, and it's distinct enough to be recognizable. I love the character as well, but could anything be done with him? He could easily have a movie or something based on the character, like minus the pet L, so we gotta get Hootie out, I'm sorry. But like a dark, gritty movie would be great with him. The only problem I see is that the kind of movie that I see him in would have been done in the 90s. Back when that was kind of the style, and they weren't doing it then. So like, the stuff now, it might work, especially if it had kind of like the John Wick kind of feel to it, as far as the dark, gritty look, not necessarily all the action scenes, but yeah, like something in that cinematography style, I think could work well. But Dr. Midnite has always been amazing. He's always been one of my favorites because everything about this character. I mean, even so far as going like seeing in the dark, that's not that big of a stretch when you're suspending reality and superhero stuff anyway. And he got by mostly with his smarts. So, yeah. But I'd love to know what you guys think. You can always email me directly at b4itall@yahoo.com. I'm on YouTube for now under Superhero Deep Dive. You can comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Just remember, as of May 1st, I am going over to my friend's channel at TN2M Shows. We're not doing the deep dive, but I still do superhero meme reviews, which are pretty funny. I encourage you to check them out. They come out every Saturday. So yeah, give them a subscribe too. We also do our sit-down stand-up comedy show and our Bogus or Bonafide series. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, and we also have wrestling memes. We have ex-professional wrestler El Pathetico doing wrestling memes. It's a similar format. I kind of helped him set it up, and it's been a lot of fun seeing him go and do it. But yeah, check it out, guys. But this is gonna do it for me now. I hope everyone's blessed. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone is safe, and I hope everyone is smart. But if you're not smart, don't get caught. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.